problem.
Just
Snapshot.
a quick reminder, everybody, this video is being recorded and will be posted.
Thank you for my weekly reminder not to say anything outrageous. Too outrageous.
Yes, sir.
I'll just add that it's posted behind in the member only section, so you have to be a member to get to it. But still, thank you, Laura, for that reminder.
All right, so in the snapshot, we're just going to talk about 8 bills, and so 2 pages, 4 per slide. These are the ones that are moving that I think are more interesting. So bills of interest. The full report is still posted online, and I'm happy to flip over to it if one of the bills that you care about is not on this list. But I will tell you that if you care about it and it's not on this list, it's not moving and doesn't have a chance to pass this year. So we're kind of down to the 8 that I think are on our tracking list that are moving enough to pass. So I'm just going to hit these 8 real quick, and then I'll stop and for questions, and we can go on to other things if you want to. So first one is OSTDS permits. We talked about this a few times. Quick reminder: it decouples the OSTDS or septic tank permitting process from the building permitting process, so they can run in parallel. It's on the House floor, so it has passed all committee stops in the House. It has one more stop in the Senate. We're watching that. We don't have a position on that as an organization. Stormwater treatment, which is 848 and 1457. This is one that I've talked about a few times over the last several weeks. It would have removed a category of stormwater treatment, compensating stormwater treatment from the rule. That got fixed yesterday in the House, in the House at 1457. My team worked on lobbying that with the bill sponsor and bill proponent, and the effect of the bill now, as amended, is it does not require any amendments to the stormwater rule. It preserves and protects the regional stormwater management system category. And then all of the other stuff is related to the water quality enhancement area and the things that they want to do. And we stayed out of that. So in the future, should this pass, there would be 2 forms of stormwater credits, one from a regional stormwater management system and the other from a water quality enhancement area. So that's the bill. It is calendared for its last stop in the Senate on Tuesday. At that stop, it would get amended to match the House version, which should make it a happy day and a good bill and blah, blah, blah. I know we could talk a lot more about that, but I wanted to keep this meeting on all of the bills, not just that one bill that I care a lot about. The DEP bill is on its last stop in the House. It is not moving as fast on the Senate. There are some people looking at making more amendments to that bill, and also it has a risk of becoming an environmental train bill for any other environmental issues that aren't moving this year. So DEP is trying to fend those off. But it's still a relatively clean bill, does a handful of things related to septic tanks, deletes the completion of the transfer from DOH to DEP, deletes the Environmental Regulation Commission, and does a handful of other cleanup things. It has the biosolids pieces of it were stripped out. So it's a smaller bill than it is when it started. And then speaking of biosolids, the big biosolids bill, which is 1294 and 1245, is on its last stop in the House and Senate. And I say big because there are 2 biosolids management bills. This is the bill that has all of the DACs and IFAS and Class AA and land application rates, a lot of policy in this one about how and when and where it's proper to apply biosolids to land. The other biosolids management bill is the smaller bill. It is a little bit behind this one. There is still a chance that they get grouped together. That's always a chance when they've got the same topic. But the other one simply eliminates the ability to land apply when there is a permitted wastewater treatment facility that can accept biosolids within 50 miles of your operation. So that's a Gates initiative. Next slide, please. So the PFAS bill, this is Connerly's and Harold's bill. It's on the last stop in the House and Senate. I say watching because we haven't weighed in as an organization, but I do like the bill. It it phases out, gives statutory deadlines to phase out the legal use of PFAS containing firefighting foams over I think a 3-year period, maybe a 2-year period. But it phases it out over a defined schedule and then offers incentives and liability protection to help firefighting, stations switch over to the PFAS-free foams. So, oh, and there is also a PFAS testing provision for biosolids generators above a certain size. That's something has got a few people, paying closer attention to it. It's not just a firefighting PFAS bill. It also has a PFAS testing component for biosolids. So do watch that. It looks like it's going to go. The DAX bill is what we started talking about at the beginning. It's on the Senate floor with a ton of amendments. I've not processed all of them yet. The only thing in there that I would consider, completely in the environmental wheelhouse is a biosolids provision. It is more or less I won't say it's a copy, but it's definitely the same type of concerns that the big biosolids bill has. So I'm actually interested to see it stay in, because there are some overlapping. I don't see anything conflicting, but there's a biosolids provision in there about land applying biosolids on for agriculture. There is one other component that's semi-environment, and it's there's a surplus provision for state lands that would allow surplus state lands to go into agriculture. So I just flagged that for people that follow state lands issues. But it's got one more stop in the House. I expect that last stop in the House will be riddled with a bunch of amendments and we'll probably see some more movement, changes on that bill, but pretty narrow environmental overlap there. The beach management bill is on the Senate floor and the last stop in the House. This one is, it's not a comprehensive, coastal policy bill. It does affect the process for designating a beach as critically eroded, and thereby affects the eligibility for beach funding, state beach funding. So few policy things in there. If you're in that space, do look at that. That looks like it's going to pass. And then the last one on this list that's on the Senate floor, last up in the House, is the nature-based coastal resiliency bill, which does place some rulemaking obligations on DEP to create more rules on nature-based shore protection. So alternatives to riprap and seawalls and things like that. They want more nature-based stuff, or at least the proponent does, and this would add some more rules to the toolbox for shoreline protection. And so that's the snapshot. You see it's cleaner and a little bit probably more efficient to go through it this way. It's also the end of week 5, which means there's really only 2 weeks or so left, at least for policy bills. There'll be a lot more on the budget side. The House and the Senate were supposed to release their budgets yesterday, and the House did, and the Senate said, "Nope, we're going home. Maybe you'll get it next week." So there's already some more friction heating up around the budget, like there was last year. A lot of people around here are being using pretty cynical language, describing a almost certain extended session to get the budget worked out. So still a lot of acrimony in that area. But the path forward for policy bills is narrowing extremely quickly. Next week is kind of the last week, maybe a week after that, where the policy bills can get through their last committees and onto the floor. And then the last week and a half will be a lot of floor action for the policy bills. Who has questions? Deidre, yes, ma'am.
Hey, Jeff, can you just keep us posted on what we should be preparing for as these bills pass? Do we need to do anything, or I was thinking maybe, and I know Stacy's on, that maybe we do like a legislative alert when a bill passes to our membership, just to let them know if there are things that, are moving, or maybe a weekly, as things become, as things pass both chambers, and are sent to the governor, probably not sent right away, but just if you could just let us know what we should be doing in that regard, I think that would be super helpful.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. We can do a little blurb on the bill when it passes and is headed to the governor. We can do a little write-up on it. Happy to do that.
That'd be great. Just short, just very short, but just like a legislative alert for our members.
Will do.
Thank you.
Michael, I saw your note in the chat. I do not know who's getting that money. And
How do I find out something like that?
if a lobbyist is doing a really good job, no one will know who's getting the money.
It's funny because I'm actually I just did a study for South Florida looking at lowering insurance rates for some mitigation projects. And it's a hard thing to get those numbers out of the FEMA insurance stuff is not easy. And I found a company that can do it. There's not many. So I was like, who's pushing this? So Adam Blaylock will be at dinner tonight at the EEA thing. So if you guys have any questions you want us to pose to Adam, we'll have an opportunity.
I may send you one.
I may need smart people.
I am hearing, by the way, since we do have some time and I don't see any more hands raised, that the water quality improvement grant is going to be zeroed out again this year in favor of member appropriations for member projects.
Is that directly under him?
Yes.
Under.
Yeah. And that's last year it was zeroed out. Year before that it was 200 million. So this is a more than $100 million a year grant program for septic to sewer, wastewater facility upgrades, all, lots of categories of eligible projects that help water quality and help local communities, fund their capital improvement programs. And the fact that it's been zeroed out now 2 years in a row is, 1 year was a disruption. 2 years, maybe a major impact.
Where does the fund, was that a line item in the budget that's just getting moved around?
Yeah, it was, the money comes from, remember the old Amendment 1 dock stamp tax revenue? So that's some of it. That's a big chunk of it. A lot of that money has been spent on the Everglades. A lot of that money is going to kind of these poster child restoration programs like the IRL, so that it's sucking a lot of money over there. And then the other thing that's happening is, and since it's recorded, I am going to give you a Cliff's Notes version of what's happening on the political side of this. Is the DEP managed grant program has screening criteria that ranks all these projects, and every one of those projects that makes it under the funding cap would go forward if it were entirely up to DEP. But those lists are going to the governor's office, and the governor's office is sometimes reprioritizing them and then taking advantage of going out and doing ribbon cuttings for political supporters. And that politicking around the grant program has upset the House and Senate leadership. So the reason why you're seeing grant program state, executive branch grant programs go away in favor of legislative branch direct appropriations is they get to pick instead of the governor. Now the governor still gets to veto. So it's kind of a scorched earth mentality right now, unfortunately, with him in his last term and last session, and the House and Senate have been at odds. Yes, Gary.
Who? No, something.
Gary, try again. I can't hear you.
You're on mute.
Unmute.
There you go. For Mr. Ward to get off mute. Who runs the grant program?
He's not on mute, guys. I checked.
The grant program is run by Adam Blaylock, DEP.
But like who runs it for him?
Oh, Alex Reed.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. That's not right. It's Angela Connect.
is
Alex
doing
has all the
coastal
coastal stuff.
stuff.
Angela has all the funding stuff.
That's no relationship to George Connect, is it?
I don't know, but it is a relationship to Greg Connect, who's the head of the Nature Conservancy in Florida. But he's a good guy. I don't know about George. Gary, we're not hearing you, so if you can put something in chat, I could try to answer it that way. Does anybody else have any questions? All right. Going, gone. Happy to give you all a few minutes back on a Friday. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.
Everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everybody.
Jeff. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.